Oh, let me tell you something. Busting makes me feel good.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Blockbusting, the podcast where we love to hate the movies. I'm your host, Jay Light. Joining me today, this is a guy I've wanted to have on for a very long time, and almost 90 episodes later, finally snagged him, Tyler Meznarich.
90 episodes. Congratulations on that.
Thanks, man.
Wow.
Yeah, this is going to be either the last episode of 2018 or the first episode of 2019. To be determined.
Wow, I'm a big deal.
You are. Tyler and I, we go way back.
Yeah.
I first started doing comedy in North Carolina. Tyler was doing comedy out there at the time.
Yeah.
We only met one time because the other time we were supposed to come to a show I was running, you'd gotten into a fight with a guy.
Yes.
And decided to bail on the show because he was also on that lineup.
Well, he had, to be fair, it wasn't just like I bailed out of the blue. He
Right.
had actually messaged me and was like, we're going to talk at this show. And I was like, dude, I don't need this. I'm moving out to LA in like 4 months.
Yeah.
Goodbye. I'm not going to go to this show.
Yeah. I mean, I totally understood. And then we met up in LA and we've been buddies ever since.
Yeah.
Running the Kinda Sketchy comedy show every Thursday at Hyperion Tavern, the best show open mic in LA.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're here to talk about a movie that you don't like. And I'm a fan of this movie. And I watched this movie again last night. And then even as someone who was actively falling asleep during this movie, I'm going to chalk it up to the lateness, not that the movie's boring.
All right.
But It Follows.
It Follows. I have mixed feelings.
Okay. Mixed feelings are fine on this show.
Yeah.
We saw this movie together the first time, right? Were we at the Vista that one time? Because I know there's a group of us that went to go see this movie.
I don't. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I was there.
Okay, I know I was there, and I think the girl I was dating at the time was there with us.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you were also there. I'm pretty sure Parker was there.
Our buddy Parker.
Our buddy Parker.
You grew up with in Texas.
Who grew up with in Texas,
Yeah.
yes. Sorry for inside info on this podcast, guys. We're just going real inside here.
Yeah, of course.
But It Follows, if you don't remember, great movie. It's available on Netflix for a little bit of time. You should definitely check it out while it's still out there. 2014 American supernatural horror film. Written and directed by David and Robert Mitchell, starring Micah Monroe, follows a teenage girl named Jay who is pursued by a supernatural entity after a sexual encounter. Critically acclaimed, successful limited release, grossed $23 million on a $2 million budget.
Oh, it's impressive.
It is impressive, and you don't like it, Tyler.
See, I remember you were the one that told me about this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I was outside the Comedy Store, and you were just talking about this movie called It Follows, and you were like, well, it's like an STD, like that, but it's a demon.
Yeah, it's like it's an ST demon, basically.
And I had so many questions. I was so hooked on the premise of it. So you explained, like, you have sex with somebody, and then the demon now the demon chases you. And I'm just like, forever? And you're like, no. Then you pass it on to somebody else. I'm like, oh, okay, so it is an STD demon. Okay. And then what? And then, like, if they gets that person, then it comes after you. And it's like, okay. Oh, which is also not how STDs work, but
Well, yes, it's not how STDs work, but you get an STD, and then if you have sex with somebody else, you pass it along.
yeah, there's no condom that prevents demon following you along. You
True.
know, it's just as far as I know.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know if they're having sex with condoms on in this movie. Maybe
Yeah.
that's
See, that's
what solves the whole movie is you wear a condom and maybe you don't have to deal with a demon chasing you.
And see, that's what the issue I have with the movie isn't that it isn't a great concept. It's that they don't explain it, and so there's so many questions. And like, as you watch any movie, you put yourself in the place of the protagonist. You're like, okay, what would I do?
Mm-hmm.
And this movie is just full of possibilities, and they don't even like. They need like a Jamie Kennedy, like in Scream, to sit there and map out all the possibilities for you.
Gotcha.
To make this movie good. And they don't have it, so I don't like it.
Tyle, it's so Because here's what I'll say, and I remember watching this in theaters, and I really liked it. And I watched it again last night before we recorded this, and I still liked it, but I had some problems with it. They're minor problems.
Okay.
But problems nonetheless. First big problem. The very opening sequence is a really cool sequence because it's just following a girl who has the demon. What are we going to call this?
What do you call the ST demon?
I mean, it's an ST demon. That's all it really is.
Yeah.
A sexually transmitted demon.
Yeah.
So this chick whose pussy's haunted, she's running around her neighborhood, and she's freaking out because there's something, we don't know what it is at this point in the movie. Because it's the opening sequence.
Right.
And she escapes and takes her car or her dad's car and drives to a lake or a beach. And all of a sudden, guess what? Next shot is her like crying and talking to her dad and telling her that she loves him. And then she gets murdered, like destroyed by this demon. Gruesomely.
Like her legs broken and like hanging there.
Yep, and it's a really it's crazy for this opening sequence. It's just like it gets you right in there.
Right.
But I had a problem with this that I didn't notice the first time. She's wearing high heels.
Yes.
Why are you running from something in high heels?
See, I recently watched it with my girlfriend, and that's exactly what she keyed in on. She was just like, "Who is this? Take off your heels! Like, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Just watch the movie. It like makes sense." And like in my understanding, she was like, I don't know, out in the town, and it's just like, "Oh shit, STD demons here."
But she didn't.
Gotta roll.
She wasn't dressed like she was out on the town. She was dressed in pajamas.
Yeah, it is
Like,
a little weird.
I mean, like frilly pajamas, like sort of sexy pajamas, but pajamas. Why are you wearing high heels
I don't
and
know.
running?
I don't know.
I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. But aside from that, though, the rest of this movie is really, really solid. Even the parts where they go to the guy who passed along this ST demon to our poor protagonist Jay, who's just great. Micah Monroe, fantastic actress.
Can we say, since you know the movie, after you've seen the movie, he passes along all the information necessary for her to understand what it is.
Right. Because they go out on a date, and she's like, man, and she's talking to her sister, and it's like, I think I'm gonna have sex with this guy. And then she finally does, and then they're in a car, and he chloroforms her.
They have consensual sex.
Yes.
And I mean, that's very important because I was talking to somebody else about this, and they were like, was that consensual? And I'm like, they had
It's extremely consensual.
Consensual. She was like sweet about it, and then just like shock.
So that's part of what I really like about this movie is that it goes from being really sweet and having these really nice, tender moments, like that moment right beforehand, where in any other movie, if it wasn't a horror movie, she would have these, she's having this monologue where she's like, in the afterglow, and she's like playing with a flower that's on the side of the car, and she's like, yeah, I always had these fantasies about like going out with a guy and driving in a car somewhere and going out on dates.
Right.
Man, now it's like, what are we here? And it's like she's ready to have like a conversation about stuff with this guy, and then he chloroforms her, and then she wakes up strapped to a wheelchair. Very resourceful, this guy.
Yeah.
Strapped to a wheelchair in an abandoned warehouse or power plant of some kind.
This guy has I'm passing on sex demon like system down. Like he has a wheelchair in his car. He's got ropes. He's got chloroform and regs
at the ready.
Yeah.
And he just hasn't picked up on and he hasn't gotten caught by this SD demon yet.
I mean, nice guy. I mean, like, they kind of portray him as, like, a shady dude for a little bit, because you're like, what's going on? He's chloroforming girls. Mm-hmm. But you know what? He could just have sex with girls and then just not tell them. And then they could just, get murdered by, like, a weird naked person running up to him.
Right. And that's what happens, essentially, at the end of the movie, is because Jay gets the demon, and the demon is continually chasing her for almost the entire movie. So she has sex with Greg, who's one of their neighbors.
Yeah.
Who's like this like flowy haired biker kind of dude who's like he's like lives across the street, and his mom is like, yo, what's up with this family? They're like fucked up because she gets dumped after she gets the demon. She's like dumped off onto the front lawn by this guy, and the cops come, and the cops are like, what happened?
This guy does not give a shit about this girl at all.
No.
Like, you rewatch that scene, like she sleeps with him, and the guy's like, whatever, and like he's like, they're like, are you gonna be okay? What's his name? Craig or Greg? Greg, are you gonna be all right? He's like, yeah, I don't care. I seem to be fine. I'm not worried about fucking demons. Meanwhile, like they'd already like shot. They'd already like gone to that beach garage, and like shit was just like getting blown up.
Yeah.
By like the demon.
The demon. This is the point where you get to really see like the demon in action too,
Yeah.
which I really like, because the demon is so powerful. It's invisible, and the kid who has a crush on her the whole time. By the way, top tier character.
Oh, friend zone so much. That
The
guy.
friend zone. The sister and her friend are kind of like, they're fine as characters. This kid I identify with. This kid
You
I
would.
get. I love the friend zone kid. Because he's just like, he's just like, I don't know, man. It's just like, I think I like you. If you were my first kiss.
There's a moment where he was like, I'll have sex with you to get the demon away. And she's like, no, I'm going to have sex with Greg.
Yeah.
Who's just a guy
And then
across the street.
later on, he's like, well, why'd you have sex with Greg?
We should mention, so when the demon kills you, it doesn't just like, it's not like Jason killing you. It actually fucks you to death.
Yeah. Which we don't find out until
Greg. And
Because
it's his
the demon
mom.
shows up in the form of his mom. And
It's just so messed up.
and then you get to see Greg's mom fuck Greg to death.
Yes.
And it's like a nuclear bomb going off. It's just a big bright flash of light. It's horrifying to watch. But it's not as it's weirdly like not that gruesome. It's just weird.
Well, let's okay. Here's what I think is the most fascinating thing about this movie.
Tell me.
Before we get back into going through the plot of it, is that this demon, so the rules are, and the guy explains the rules to her when she's like fucking post chloroform in a wheelchair, that the demon walks to you. It always is walking directly to you unless you pass it off to somebody else, and then it follows that person until it gets that person, and then it goes back to following you, and until forever up the line, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then he also says this one line, which is a complete, feels like a throwaway, but it comes into play later, that like, it's not stupid. You can't trick it.
Right.
And like, that's
It's
it.
slow, but it's not dumb.
It's slow, but it's not dumb.
Because that's the thing. The monster is only it's walking. It's
Yeah.
not running at you ever. It's
Yeah.
not a fast zombie like you see in 28 Days Later.
No.
It's just this creepy thing that's just walking.
And
towards
only you can see it, and like the kind of creepy thing is like it could look like anything. So it's just like, you know, you're in a crowd, you're at a concert, and then all of a sudden you see like one person walking towards you, staring right at you, and you're like, oh, is that just a weirdo on drugs, or is that the demon that's going to fuck me to death and kill me?
Right.
And you don't know for sure, so you just kind of gotta peace out and be like creeped out wherever you are. But it like can't walk through walls. It has to like
It has to use doors.
it has to use doors or windows.
Yeah, it's got to like break into houses.
Yeah.
It's constantly breaking windows. Lots of broken windows in this movie.
So like if you like locked yourself in a room, like it would wait outside the room for you, but it wouldn't like, you know, maybe if we could like find a way to burrow its way in, maybe it would, but like it can't just get in out of nowhere.
Right.
So like with that knowledge, I feel like there's so many different scenarios to get away from this ST demon.
But how? Because it knows where you are.
See, this is where I excel, and this is where this movie disappoints me, because I feel like you need a character like me to go in there and be like, let's go to the ocean and have sex with somebody before they go on a boat somewhere. Or better than that, have sex with somebody who is like a submarine guy who's going to be in a submarine for like 3 months.
A submarine. It's gonna find a way to get into the submarine, though.
That's fine. It's got to walk across the entire ocean. And then this guy's going to be like, especially if he's like some sailor guy, he's going to be, you know, in Thailand. Go hand it off to somebody there. And then you're like, cool. I'm like good for like 3 years.
But, okay, so the problem with your plan, Tyler.
Okay, let's hear it.
The problem with your plan, it's not a bad plan. I'm not going to say it's a bad plan. but this movie takes place in Detroit. Where are there submarines or oceans in Detroit?
She's a pretty
Tyler?
girl. Get in your car and drive to the coast.
But she does that. She goes to whatever Great Lake she decides to go to, and then fucks some dudes on a fishing boat.
She's got to go deeper. You got to work harder. Okay, this is an ST demon. You can't just. This isn't T-ball. This is the major leagues here.
All right, Tyler. What? And this is the question I have for you. Most importantly, if you got plagued by the ST demon,
yes,
what do? Do you follow through with this? Go have sex with somebody? Because are you going to have sex with a sailor? Are you going to bat for the other team just so you can get rid of this thing?
See, I've thought about this a lot. See, I like the submarine thing, but you know what would be the best thing to do?
What?
Is to go have sex with an astronaut. You go have sex with an astronaut right before they're going to go into the space station.
Okay, Tyler, do you know any astronauts?
I would go seduce an astronaut.
I don't think you'd be able to seduce an astronaut.
But, like, can you imagine how funny it'd be just to see the demon just, like, staring up at the sky and just walking along the earth?
I mean, the demon would figure out how to get up there.
You think so?
Yeah, the demon's going to go talk to Elon Musk and be like, look, I need to get up into the thing. Because there's no way. This sex demon has gotten around.
Sure.
Like, there's a lot more people who can see the sex demon than we're giving it credit for. Because if you've got the ST demon, you can see it.
Right.
Even if it's not coming directly after you.
Right.
So how many people do we know who have seen this? There's got to be some famous people in there.
Well, here's another question I have. So, do you hand it off to everybody or just the last person you have sex with?
Just the last person.
See, that's weird. So if like there's somebody you hand it off to this person and then you have sex with this person, they're like you're in the STD free zone?
Yeah.
That's weird, right?
I mean, because that's technically not how STDs work. You're right. But that's like, okay, well then it's trying to merge too much with other horror movie logic. That's the problem that I have with your argument, Tyler,
right,
is that you're trying to chunk too many other horror movies into this horror movie. Just let it be on its own.
I need a character that asks these questions because I want to know the answers to them, or at least know that the movie was asking these questions out loud.
Well, I think that They don't do that. There's only really two parts where things get explained about what's going on.
Right.
And the first time we've basically already covered. There's like a guy who we've already discussed. Wheelchair, ropes, weird abandoned power plant.
Nicest guy in the world.
Nicest guy in the world. He's got an earring. What's wrong? Nothing wrong with the dude with an earring.
I mean, it's creepy and everything, but at the end of the day, he just wants to live and he wants to give everyone a running shot. Although that does also help him because the longer they live, the longer he lives.
Yes. I mean, technically, if we're going that route, he's a better guy than Jay is as a character because she's just fucking these. She goes and fucks these sailor dudes. And clearly doesn't tell them that there's going to be a demon coming for them.
Yeah.
And same thing. So she eventually does get this guy out of the friend zone, and he goes and picks up a hooker outside of another abandoned building because that's all Detroit is at this point.
Yeah.
And he clearly doesn't tell the hooker that there's going to be a demon coming for her.
Right.
Absolutely not. He's banking on the fact that, she's a hooker. She's going to have sex with somebody else. And that guy's going to have sex with somebody else, and so on and so forth, and the chain's going to go on, and they're going to be fine. And they can live their happy little life where he finally gets to have his dreams fulfilled while she's rebounding from being fucked by all sorts of people who have demons attached to their penises.
There's ways... Speaking of, I mean, the prostitute angle, it's not a bad angle.
Not a bad angle. That's the angle that our friend Parker kept pitching. Was why not go to a brothel? Go to the bunny ranch.
Well, it's so I think the trick is you need to orchestrate as many sexual exchanges as possible.
Okay.
So you can't just be like, well, I'm going to have sex with a prostitute and then I'm going to peace. No, you have to have sex with a prostitute And then you have to watch that prostitute have sex with somebody else, and then watch that person have sex with somebody else, and watch that person have sex with somebody else. And you're like, okay, now I'm like layered like 17 people deep.
But-
I'm gonna friend everybody on Facebook, and I'm gonna know when it's working its way down.
But again, this is my problem with your argument is that changes the tone of the movie too much. That makes it almost like a wacky National Lampoon style comedy at that point.
Do you want to beat the STD demon or not?
But then it takes away it's not a horror movie at that point.
I'm not here to make a good movie. I'm here to follow the logic the movie has presented.
It follows.
Right?
There is another part that you did bring up as far as a movie that a part of this movie that you don't like, and that is the climactic sequence at the pool, which upon watching it again, there's really not a whole lot of it that actually does make sense.
See, that validates all my criticism because they're trying to beat the ghost or the demon at its own game, and it's like the dumbest plan ever.
Because the plan of the movie at this point, the kids are all super distraught.
Where are the adults, by the way?
Well, we know the mom is an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And the dad is dead, I guess. We don't know.
Okay.
We don't even know. This is, and also, by the way, one of my favorite parts of the movie is seeing what the monster changes into over the course of the movie. Because there's a lot of times where it's just a really scary thing, like with the chick in the kitchen, where it's just like she's like bloody and weird looking, and her tits out, and then she's peeing herself.
Isn't it like her sister, or like looks like her sister?
That's later on when they get to the beach.
Okay, yeah.
It changes between looking like the three friends and the sister, and then there's also the little rat demon kid who like pops into the beach.
Yeah,
which is fun. There's the giant hulking man.
Just kind of ducks his head into the...
Yeah. The old woman when she first finally realizes what's going on and that it's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all of the monster stuff is really good. And you don't find out at the very end the demon's taking the form of her dad, which I will say, impact-wise, the shot where you see that it's her dad comes after this whole sequence. I think it's got more impact if you find out that it's her dad beforehand.
Yeah, I don't know
structurally why David Robert Mitchell decided to do that.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that it was her dad.
And if you're listening, that would be great for you to come explain to me personally. Come talk on this. Come talk on the show. You know what? I would love to have more directors on the show. Just a side note for 2019. I'm gonna make some happen.
Yeah.
Because I want to hear what other people talk shit about movies that they don't like if they're making movies. Side note. I'm just throwing that out there, secret style. But this whole sequence, they're trying to get, all right, we're going to get Jay in the water, and she is going to seduce the demon into the water to fuck her to death.
Yes.
In an abandoned pool.
Meanwhile, they have circled this abandoned pool, which is a beautiful pool, by the way.
So beautiful. Why is it abandoned?
Like, where's everybody? And they've surrounded it with all these appliances that they have plugged in. So I guess the idea is that the demon gets in the water, she gets out of the water, they throw all the appliances in at the same time and electrocute the ST demon.
Right. But the problem is the demon is smart, as we've already learned.
Not dumb.
The demon is not dumb. It's slow, but it's not dumb.
Yeah.
And it starts unplugging the appliances, not even unplugging them sometimes, just chucking them at Jay in the water.
And it's like... So this demon understands being electrocuted, or it understands what appliances are and
probably
water plus appliances. Has this demon seen the movie Groundhog Day? It understands that.
I mean, it's slow, but it's not dumb, Tyler.
That's like a bridge too far. I mean, if it was okay, and then you're gonna go in here and there's gonna be a bucket of molten oil that falls on it or something, and be look up and be there's that's a thing. I'm not stupid, sure, but that seems like a lot to figure out.
Okay, Tyler.
If it was a 10-year-old, I feel like a 10-year-old wouldn't understand. What do you mean? Go in the water and you put stuff. How smart is this demon? What grade level?
Did you not know when you were 10 years old that water and electricity were not supposed to mix?
I mean,
nobody told you that?
I don't know if I feel like I probably I feel like not everybody who's 10 years old knows that.
I feel like there are more 10 years old that know that than non-10-year-olds that know that.
All right, what grade level is the demon? What's
demon
the
is-
intelligence level? Is it Forrest Gump level? Like, where's it
I
at?
think the demon is probably at least a grad school level education.
Grad school level education.
Because look at how
this demon can write 25-page papers.
How long has this demon been around?
Long time?
Hundreds of, probably thousands of years.
Yeah, I don't know what the lifespan is.
I don't know what the lifespan of the demon is.
yeah.
Especially because you can shoot the demon in the head multiple times, as we've seen, and not kill the demon.
Yeah.
Or they shot it in the fucking neck at the beach.
Yeah.
Didn't do anything.
So it's like it can't die. At least by like any kind of like regular, way that you would kill something. Mm-hmm. There's no silver bullet. They haven't tried that.
Right. Maybe they just need penicillin.
Maybe they need God. Maybe they go to church.
I mean, they never go to a church in this movie.
They do never,
This is the best movie. This movie should be shown in churches as part of an abstinence-only sex education program. I don't know why nobody's picked up on this yet. Sure, it's an R-rated movie, but you know what? So is The Passion of the Christ, and that's a great movie to show at church.
Just churches like buying out movie theaters to show It Follows.
Yeah, because guess what? Hey, who cares about getting pregnant when you might get fucked to death by a demon?
That's true.
That's a way worse fate.
Don't be like Greg.
Don't be like Greg. Greg didn't give a shit.
Also, Greg, as cool as Greg is, he didn't have sex with anybody else in the interim.
Yeah, don't be like Jay. Jay, she was a loose woman, and all of a sudden she's got a demon haunting her and chasing after her.
I just think if you're 5 kids and you're like, there's a sex demon, it's following our friend, we got to figure this out, and like the only idea is let's go to an abandoned pool and throw in appliances. Like, there's got to be more. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. You're in Detroit. Go get a bigger gun. I don't know.
You can probably get a bigger gun in Detroit.
Yeah, I don't know. Or find like some sort of like building and like collapse it or something, or underground silo, TNT. Put some effort into this. This is a demon that's going to kill you.
Again, now it's turning into a whole other movie where we need Bruce Willis or Sylvester Stallone to come in and take care of this thing.
Like, run it over with a car.
Tyler, why can't you just let this movie be this movie?
Like, chain it in the ocean. I don't know.
So you want to make Black Snake Moan of this movie, where Samuel L. Jackson chains the demon to a radiator.
I mean, like, they put a blanket on it, and that works. So, like, you could put a heavy crate of stuff on it and maybe trap it underneath.
I don't think so, because the demon's slow but not dumb.
But I mean, that doesn't mean it's like invulnerable to like.
I mean, apparently it's invulnerable because the last shot of the movie is you see something walking behind them that wasn't there before.
It's like Thor. You can just trap it in Ragnarok or something. You could do that.
Thor escaped from Ragnarok.
Well, I mean, like, the bad guys, and I don't watch enough.
They all
Marvel
escape
movies.
from Ragnarok. That's the premise of the movie Thor Ragnarok, Tyler. It's about them escaping from. Oh wait, no, that planet's not called Ragnarok. See, I'm not as up to date either.
See, I'm a little actual like Norse mythology than I am Marvel mythology. So Ragnarok is like a whole like that's where all the Titans and stuff. I think
Ragnarok is when the destruction happens.
Right.
I don't know, Tyler.
All right, we're getting on it. We're getting on
off
tangent.
topic. Here's what I think.
Okay.
I think this movie is a really good movie. It's got a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's really well made. There are a couple of parts that threw me off. And aside from that, I still really enjoyed this movie. And I wish that you could just get on board and stop questioning the movie so much. Because here's what I think about movie logic.
Okay.
Everybody kind of knows that you have to suspend your disbelief to watch horror movies. All right? Have you ever watched any other horror movies and been like, well, I mean, I never got killed in a dream, so how is this happening? What's going on here? Why is this guy stabbing people through the chest with knives on his hands?
I mean, like, there's some logic in that movie where you got to be like, well, how would you not dream or something? you know?
Well, you know what? There's logic in this movie, which is how do I not get killed by a sex demon? I gotta have sex with somebody else.
I mean, sure, I guess.
Horror movies don't need a ton of logic to work. They're fantasies. There's no horror movie that, I mean, except for like, I don't know. No, they're all fake. They're all fantasies. The Hills Have Eyes is not based in reality. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is not based in reality.
I mean, there's some that are like more based in reality than others.
Well, name one. What's a horror movie that you
Like
think
any
does a
slasher
better
movie,
job?
like a slasher movie.
Oh, please. So Halloween is a better horror movie than It Follows? And I say this as someone who hasn't seen Halloween. So
Yes,
it could
yes.
be. It could be.
It is. I think it is a better.
I haven't seen it. So would you recommend people go see Halloween instead of It Follows?
See, I think people should see It Follows, and I think it's really fun to have these type of conversations about it.
I mean, that's why I do a whole podcast about it.
Right? I think what's missing is like you need your Jamie Kennedy and Scream to sit there and be like, this is what this movie is. This is what this is. We need to think about it.
That's a different genre of movie.
And then kill that guy. You know, it's like whatever, but have that conversation.
Tyler, do you feel like every horror movie needs that?
Sometimes I do.
Do you feel like every movie in general needs that?
When it's like, I don't know. It is a question of, I mean, if we're getting like film critical theory or whatever, of like how much you let the audience know. And this director clearly made a choice that not that much. And I think it needed a little bit more. But part of that is just me, whenever I watch any of these horror movies, when they have this convoluted kind of idea, I immediately put myself in the place of the protagonist and think what I would do. And so when they do none of the things I would want them to do, it kind of sucks.
All right. I mean, that sounds like it's a very personal problem, Tyler. You just gotta let yourself enjoy these things.
Like if I was in Jaws, I'd be like, cool, not going to go in the water. It's fine.
I've never seen Jaws either.
I know, Jay.
We've talked about this. We played this game. This is a game that Tyler and I play at our Kind of Sketchy. Name movies that Jay hasn't seen.
Do you talk about that on the podcast that like you didn't see like any movies until you were like 18 years old?
Yeah, it's been brought up. I haven't brought it up in a while, but I grew up super sheltered, and you know, I'm sure the listeners have probably been made aware that I haven't seen a lot of movies because I wasn't allowed to.
Yeah, we do the show, and I would just have people yell out like very common movies that everybody has seen, and then we'd ask Jay if he's seen them, and so many times he hasn't.
Well, Nate, let's play it right now.
Terminator.
Haven't seen it.
You haven't seen Jaws?
Nope.
You seen Jurassic Park?
Yeah, I've seen Jurassic Park.
Matrix.
Yes.
Okay. Of course you've seen Star.
You're 2 for 4 right now. Let's go through 10 movies.
Oh, okay. 10 movies that everybody has seen.
Yeah, that you think I haven't seen. I'm going to see what your batting average is.
That I think you haven't seen. Well, since you haven't seen Halloween, let's stick with the like horror movies.
I'm going to lose.
Rosemary's Baby?
Nope.
Okay. Chinatown.
Nope.
Okay. I'm doing all right.
You are doing all right.
Big Trouble in Little China.
No. What is? I haven't seen movies with China in the title either.
They Live.
No.
Oh, crushing it so far.
John Carpenter, right?
Have you seen
and Roddy Piper?
Thing. Have you seen Thing?
No.
Wow. What am I, 7 for 7?
I guess. I don't know. I stopped counting.
Have you seen, let's just have fun, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I have seen that.
I was going to,
I've only seen that of the vacation movies. I haven't seen the original. No, wait, I have seen the original Vacation. I'm lying. I apologize.
Caddyshack.
Haven't seen Caddyshack.
Okay, so like that's 8 so far.
That's 8. I mean, you named 10 and you got 8 that I hadn't seen.
Yes.
So yes, I'm uncultured, Tyler. I'm sorry. But you're wrong for wanting to have Jamie Kennedy be in this movie. You're so wrong. And I'll never forgive you for that. Tyler, thanks for coming on today, man.
Absolutely. It was so much fun.
I really like this movie, and I'm sorry that you have beef with it, but I'm glad I got to watch it again.
Yeah.
Where can the listeners find you on the internet?
Follow me on Twitter, on Instagram, Tyler, M-E-Z, Tyler Mez. That's it.
And come and hang out with us every Thursday at the Kind of Sketchy Comedy Show at Hyperion Tavern in lovely Silver Lake, California. And then you can find me at Diet J on Twitter and Instagram. JLightComedy.com for show dates. I'm going to be in San Diego a couple times this month, so keep your eyes peeled on that on January 8th and January 30th, both at Madhouse Comedy Club, and on the 18th at Courtyard. And yeah, you can find more info on my website. And if you like the show, leave a rating, leave a review, subscribe, all that good shit. It's fun.
It is fun.
Yeah.
Support comedians.
Please do. Please clap.
Please clap.
This has been Blockbusting. Go see something good for a change.